Steve Bushell from Progrand, a reseller of IT products in Birmingham. Sitting listening to the panel, there's collaboration, there's frameworks, there's sharing information, there's business cases, and there's, if you like, one-stop shops that have been spoken about. Talking purely from Westminster, Birmingham, and education, not missing out on anybody else, but talking. Is there a collaborative way in which you share suppliers in SMEs, for example?
I think we could do. I suppose the dilemma that I've always faced, and Ken will bear me out on this, we try to do a lot of work within the London councils to get collaboration between different London boroughs. And to say that we went through a very painful process of even getting people onto a memorandum of understanding is an understatement. That to me said that the public sector hadn't got its mind around the fact that actually collaboration meant that you've got to give as well as take, and that was a fundamental principle of collaboration. I've seen so many organisations put frameworks in place, put contracts in place and say, come and buy from ours, but we're not going to buy from yours, and we're not going to share resources, and if we do, we're going to charge you. The whole mentality of that has to change, because for me that's the cultural shift that needs to happen that we were talking about earlier. The mechanics and I guess the economic models to make that stack up are clearly there. Frankly, for me, in a sense, it's the people and the politics that get in the way. And until such time as we deal with that elephant in the room, then we're not going to move forward, and the public sector will stagnate where it is. And that, for me, in a sense, is the worst scenario of all, which is we do nothing and nobody's prepared to give anything.
Yeah, I would actually reinforce some of the things David said. Collaboration on my terms, if you please. I still feel I'm quite new to the public sector, being only 2 years. And when I came in here, I kind of realised there's 400 councils all doing pretty much the same things in 400 different ways, with very little collaboration going on. We've been trying really hard, and the results are trying to show in the West Midlands, in what I call vertically and horizontally. Horizontally, across the geographies, there's a meeting taking place this very minute in this building, which is what we call the City Region Heads of Procurement. So myself as a delegate there, and all the heads of procurement from the local councils, if anybody knows them, areas like Solihull, Dudley, Sandwell, Wolverhampton, Walsall, those areas. And we've got about 10 projects we've identified where we're really trying to get common specifications, common needs, common ways of doing things. And of course it is very, very difficult, because it's not just those individuals, it's their stakeholders back at the ranch, back in their councils, who have been buying things the same way. But we are making progress, and there are some areas where we're doing that. At the same time, we've been doing what I call vertically within the total place, and we did set up a total place procurement group last year, which is cross-sector, the different procurement organisations, or different public sectors within the city. So you've got health, you've got the emergency services, you've got things like the Environment Agency and the council. And again, it was just really difficult, because everybody is on a very different agenda. The emergency services actually work for the City Region area, so they've joined the City Region group now, because that fits their constituency. The PCTs are kind of in meltdown, but the acute trusts, yeah, they're good people to talk to, they've got good procurement organisations, all very piecemeal. And frankly, we didn't really make a lot of progress despite best efforts. It also, just to go back to the kind of where we started, the more you do buy commonly across a locality, the less opportunity there is for SMEs. So one strategy impacts upon another. But we have been trying hard, and we have been making small bits of progress.
Okay. I guess isn't part of the problem you have as well about the skill set of the buyers and their ability to understand how to bolt together a collective exercise, and even the amount of time that they have to think about procurement in that way, rather than just moving from exercise to exercise. And as we all know, posts have been reduced in procurement, so they're under even more pressure for time. Is it even realistic to expect that people have that, that space in their mind to think creatively and to think, more laterally? Please.
The skills of buyers is a key reason to collaborate. Not for any sort of current initiatives reason, but the Department I'm in Education lets collaborative agreements for media services. This is everything from leaflet printing to placing adverts to writing things to producing videos. And because there's very good buyers that specialise in that, a lot of other government departments join in that collaboration because they haven't got the specialisms. And likewise, we join in with Department of Work and Pensions lease car arrangements because they've got people who specialise in it. So in a time of restrained resources, don't try and do everything yourself. And if you really enjoy, I used to enjoy buying engineering. So I like making my engineering contracts available to other buyers so they would use them. So my engineering contracts would be bigger and more important and everyone would see them. So look, think of it as a person. What are you good at? What are you not good at? Find a buyer that's good and enjoys doing something else. Mutual cooperation. Reduce your workload. Get better deals. Lots of good reasons for collaboration other than because we're being told to.
Absolutely. Eddie, you speak to buyers every day. What's your take on this?
I think there's a couple of things going, to be honest. One issue, I think, is not so much we don't have trained buyers. There's a lot of very good people out there doing procurement. I think one of the issues that sometimes comes up is that in terms of collaboration, the buyer is the last person brought into the equation. And other people have decided they want to have something collaborative before they figure out whether it's feasible or not. I think the other big danger we have just now in the current economic climate is, I'm using the term buyers, and I don't like using the term buyers because I think you have buyers and you have procurement professionals, and they are two different breeds. And procurement professionals are focused 100% of the time on procurement, where buyers are engaged at different stages to take part in procurement exercises but are not necessarily 100% involved, and they do have sometimes different skill sets. And I think the big problem we have just now is with the cutbacks that we're looking at, that the training of those people is being cut back as well, or the importance of training is not being recognised the way it should be recognised, and we're losing a lot of good, skilled, quality people from the marketplace who will ultimately have to be replaced by other buyers who will have less of a skill set. Jack and I have known each other many, many years, although obviously I look as if I'm his son. But I mean, we've known each other many years, and I'm sure you would agree, Jack, over the years, the experience and the position that procurement has now has grown. It used to be almost a side route within the whole employment process of the public sector. Now it's seen as a career, now it's seen as, and it's something that we've seen develop, particularly I would say in the last 5 to 10 years, it's become far more paramount. People have realised that procurement can make significant savings that can then be fed back into frontline services. And my big worry just now, and this is why I'm fed up with the politicians and their interference, is that we're getting so much pressure brought on public bodies that the danger is we're just seeing training budgets cut, headcounts cut with no actual consideration of what the long-term damage will be. And if we don't have the right people there, you can go out, you can do collaboration, now you can call it joint venture, you can call it what you like, but it'll still be a disaster if the right people aren't involved from the outset.
Ken, wants to come in?
Yeah, I think there's another dimension, one I mentioned in my opening thing about, to do a successful collaborative exercise is an exercise in cultural change, because basically, as David knows in councils, the authorities haven't been used to doing it, and they don't like it. It's taking people outside their comfort zone, they're losing control. And I think one of the things is going to go away, we are going to have to see greater leadership. One of the things we're now introduced in London at long last, and the recent development of this is that all decisions are regarding collaboration, or whether you take part on it, and that now have to be ratified by the chief executive and the leader. An amazing difference that's having. I mean, having someone sent me an email last week saying, we're not taking part in your e-auction because, would you believe, our current supplier said there's no benefit from taking part in it. They're still born every day. What we've actually got now, I said, well, that's fine by me, but if you can account for that to your chief executive leader, that's great, no problem. within a couple of days that would have been totally rescinded. It was a case of we've decided there may be some advantages in taking part in it, but you have to drill in, and the time when you actually say, well, actually, if you don't want to take part, it's not, it's not really, you have to, you don't want to. The chief executives and treasurers and whatever are paid good money for a number of reasons. One is their intelligence, their leadership skills and things like that, but they don't take decisions. And I think that's the key thing, is that a lot of the collaboration you have to actually say, you will do it. And that may mean some people get upset, but it's the only way you're ever going to get it to stick. Otherwise, it will never fly.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Simon, do you want to?
Yeah, I think from a supply perspective, the collaboration is common within government bodies, but the decisions from government down about how you collaborate, what you do, etc., are very diluted, the mixed messages. And I think this is where, from a sort of technology basis, where the adoption of technology and software may help you do collaboration in a better method, and actually drive more efficiencies into every organisation for uniformity. I think that's going to be key in the future.